absolute fucking cinema. I mean, last week's PMQs actually led me to a downward spiral of my sanity, and I had to take the political week off. But now I'm back, and just in time too. I have often claimed that all Labour could do was attack, but the PMQs this week? Oh boy. They were forced to play maximum defence. You could see Keir squirm as he realised the situation was far too severe to even attempt to go on the attack. For those of you that don't know, the big news in the UK at the moment is the Prince of Darkness. Yes, that really is his nickname, Lord Peter Mandelson. He's a major political figure who has previously been involved in multiple illegal activities, money scandals and distribution of fake passports. Most devastating was Mandelson's connections to Jeffrey Epstein, and about just how close they really were. They were really close friends. Like, really close friends. Stupidly close. Literal besties. I mean, I can't blame Epstein for taking such a liking to him, considering Mandelson regularly sold government secrets to him. A few $1,000s here, a few thousand there. Leaking sensitive information all to Epstein. But there was also a case of him leaking information for free.
But Lyra, nothing in this world is free.
So, what could old Jeffers be trading to Sneaky Pete? I wonder. So how does all this relate to the PMQs? Well, Kemi Badenoch had one question on her mind. In fact, all sides of this had one question on their mind. Every single member of Parliament in that room had one question on their mind. You see, Peter Mandelson was Starmer's friend and was personally appointed by our dear PM. So, did Starmer know about Mandelson's link to Epstein prior to appointing him?
Leader of the opposition, Kemi Badenoch.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The whole House will be disgusted by the latest revelations about Jeffrey Epstein. All of us want to see his victims get justice. But the political decision to appoint Epstein's close associate, Peter Mandelson, as Britain's ambassador to Washington goes to the very heart of this Prime Minister's judgment. When he made that appointment, was he aware that Mandelson had continued his friendship even after Epstein's conviction for child prostitution?
Mr. Speaker, let me start where I must with the victims of Epstein, and all of our thoughts are with them. To learn that there was a cabinet minister leaking sensitive information at the height of the response to the 2008 crash is beyond infuriating. And I am as angry as the public and any member of this House. Mandelson betrayed our country, our Parliament, and my party. Mr. Speaker, he lied repeatedly to my team when asked about his relationship with Epstein before and during his tenure as ambassador. I regret appointing him. If I knew then what I know now, he would never have been anywhere near government. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, yesterday, the Cabinet Secretary, with my support, took the decision to refer material to the police. And there is now a criminal investigation.
Objection!
That's a deflection. Try again.
Kemi Badenoch.
Mr. Speaker, I asked the Prime Minister a very specific question. Did he know that Mandelson had continued his friendship with Epstein after the conviction? He says if he knew then what he knows now, but he did know. In January 2024, a journalist from the Financial Times informed the Prime Minister that Mandelson had stayed in Epstein's house even after that conviction for child prostitution. So did the Prime Minister conveniently forget this fact, or did he decide it was a risk worth taking?
Prime Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, as the House would expect, we went through a process. There was a due diligence exercise, and then there was security vetting by the security services. What was not known was the depth, the sheer depth and extent of the relationship. He lied about that to everyone for years. And new information was published in September, showing the relationship was materially different to what we'd been led to believe. When the new information came to light, I sacked him. But we did go through a due diligence exercise. The points that are being put to me were dealt with within that exercise. In response to the humble address this afternoon, I intend to make sure that all of the material is published. Mr. Speaker, the only exemptions are national security, that prejudice national security. My first duty is obviously to keep this country safe. And when we drafted humble addresses, we always put an exemption for national security. But also anything will prejudice international relations. Mr. Speaker, you in the House will appreciate that in the course of discussions country to country, there are very sensitive issues of security, intelligence and trade which cannot be disclosed without compromising the relationship between the two countries or a third country. Mr. Speaker, so that I can be totally open with the House, I should also disclose that the Metropolitan Police have been in touch with my office this morning to raise issues about anything that would prejudice their investigations. We're in discussion with them about that, and I hope to be able to update the House, but I do think I should make that clear to the House at this point because those discussions are ongoing.
Objection!
Another attempt at avoiding the question. But now, he knows that everybody knows he is full of shit. So, one more time, Kemster.
But the Prime Minister cannot blame the process. He did know it was on Google. If the Conservative Research Department could find this information out, why couldn't number 10? On the 10th of September, when we knew this, I asked him at that dispatch box, he gave Mandelson his full confidence at that dispatch box, not once, but twice. He only sacked him after pressure from us. I am asking the Prime Minister something very specific, not about the generalities of the full extent. Can the Prime Minister tell us, did the official security vetting he received mention Mandelson's ongoing relationship with the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein?
Prime Minister.
Yes, it did. As a result.
How can he stand up there saying that he knew, but he just asked Peter Mandelson if the security vetting was true or false? This is a man who had been sacked from cabinet twice already for unethical behaviour. That is absolutely shocking. And that is why later today, my party will call on the government to release all documents relating to Mandelson's appointment, not just the ones the Prime Minister wants us to see. Because this government is trying to sabotage that release with an amendment to let him choose what we see. The man who appointed Mandelson in the first place. Labour MPs now have to decide if they want to be accessories to his cover-up.
The first exemption is in relation to anything that could compromise national security. That is not a small matter, and many members on the benches opposite will know precisely why that needs to be in the exemption.
The investigation has been ordered by Starmer into the depth of Mandelson's betrayal. But Starmer wants redactions to protect the security of the nation.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister is talking about national security. The national security issue was appointing Mandelson in the first place. Humble addresses already exempt genuine national security. This is not about national security, this is about his job security. His amendment lets him withhold anything to do with international relations. But this whole appointment is to do with international relations. So if they're voting for it, they are voting for the cover-up.
Mr. Speaker, I've set out the process. It won't be a political process. It will be led by the Cabinet Secretary, supported by the government legal team.
Sir Keir Starmer, no one is buying it. You ordered an investigation into the Muslim grooming gangs. Yet that still hasn't happened. Why? Well, most likely because Sadiq Khan was part of it. Pedophiles, criminals, imbeciles, and traitors. That's all Labour is. And even Labour know it now. David Lammy, the retard that called both the Tories and Reform low IQ, despite giving this answer on Mastermind.
Which variety of blue English cheese traditionally accompanies port?
Leicester.
I mean, if you would stop releasing criminals for 10 seconds, you would see that Leicester cheese has an extra word at the front of its name. And it's not just the UK you betrayed, it's also America. American, the ambassador we sent over to you has more than likely sold your confidential information over to China. And that is why Kemi rejected the so-called investigation. Instead, she demanded a third party investigates the situation.
If the Prime Minister is serious about national security concerns, then he should ask the Intelligence and Security Committee to decide which documents should be released. Will he commit to doing so here and now?
Starmer refused. Why? Well, because Starmer claims that the redactions won't be political. But you've involved America now. It's going to be political no matter what you do. You knew about Mendelssohn's illegal dealings with several entities, including the world's most infamous child rapist. Yet you still appointed him to be a representative of the UK to our closest ally?
Mr. Speaker, the Polish government think Epstein may have been spying for Vladimir Putin. Is the Prime Minister concerned that Peter Mandelson may have been leaking state secrets, not just to a paedophile American financier, but also a Russian agent?
Pathetic and treacherous. The music you were listening to now is one of the Reminiscence themes from the Ace Attorney games. Originally, I was going to make this a funny OTT trial thing, but actually it's just sad. Starmer is probably going to be assassinated now. He's far too much of a genuine liability. Forget the fact that he is sneaking in ISIS members and promoting espionage. Labour have turned on him now. If it is true that Mandelson has been selling American secrets to China, well, in January 2026, several high-ranking members of the Chinese Communist Party have all died to medical failures and suicide. Goodbye, Mr. Starmer. I would say that you should ask the military for protection, but you gave away their bases and then called for them to all be investigated for war crimes in Afghanistan, despite the fact that you've already tried and failed that twice on one guy, given him PTSD.
Speaking, I will give the Prime Minister some brief respite from Peter Mandelson. However, he will also be familiar with the name Phil Shiner, the disgraced lawyer who was struck off and convicted for repeatedly inventing vexatious cases against British troops in Iraq. So it is something of a surprise that the Prime Minister authored a chapter in Mr. Shiner's book about pursuing our veterans via the ECHR. So can I ask him specifically, was he ever instructed by Mr. Shiner's law firm, Public Interest Lawyers, to act in any legal case?
Let me be absolutely clear about this. As soon as there were any allegations of wrongdoing by Phil Shiner, I've had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Labour, when all you can do is attack, no one will come to defend.